Hello guys, this video will show you how to configure Apache web server on your machine. Apache is known as HTTPD on Fedora, so I can use the sudo yum install HTTPD command in order to install Apache. Yes, I want to. Will take a minute or two, and this will install HTTPD on this machine. Great. So Apache is installed. Now I want to start the Apache. To start the Apache, the command is sudo systemctl start HTTPD. Now I want the Apache to be started when the machine starts. So let me enable that as well by saying enable, and this will start the HTTPD when my machine restarts. Wonderful. Now I want to check the status of it by saying sudo systemctl status, and it says the Apache is running. But how do we check it? To check this, I want to check my IP address. So my IP address is 192.168.1.89, and I've configured the public network on this machine, which is configured by using Vagrant's VM network public network. So I can access this IP address over the network on my machine as well. So if I go back here and if I use 192.168.1.89, it shows me the default Fedora web page test page. Now where is it coming from? This is coming from the Fedora machine, the one which we are using here. But how do we configure it here? This is not my website. I want to see my web page here. When I browse this IP address, I want to check my my website, not the test page here. Now let's configure this Apache in order to host our website there. To do this, I can simply go back to /var/www and /html, and this is the directory where you need to put your website. This is the default hosting. So if I come back here and say vim index.html, and if I say this is HTML, /html, maybe I can go back here and say this is head. Again, it is /head, and then we can say body and say /body, and right inside this, if I say h1, this is my test web page. Probably this might say this might show me this website when I browse that website, when I browse that IP address. So if I go and say refresh, it shows me this is my test web page. Okay, this is a very simple example where we are creating our own web page. But the question is, like, how does it know that whatever contents which are placed inside HTML to be shown when I go to that website or when I go to that IP address here? Ultimately, website which is having a domain name is mapped to an IP address. Now to check this, I'll have to check the configurations of HTTPD which are there inside /etc/HTTPD. So let's go to that directory /etc/HTTPD, and inside this conf you can find a file named httpd conf. If I open this file, sudo vim httpd conf, you can see there are multiple settings here. So if I come back, if I start from the beginning, I see the server host or other server root is placed in /etc/httpd, where you can find all the contents, and the file is located in the same directory. Now another important parameter here is the listen. It is the port number which is the default for HTTP, and that's the reason why am I not supplying any port number here. If I am using a port number other than 80, if I have to configure it here, and I'll have to use it every time I go to that IP address, which in this case I'm not going to change. If I continue further, it uses the user Apache and the group Apache, which is important for HTTPD to run. So if I continue further, I see the server admin is root@localhost, which is the default user for Apache, and if I just continue further, the directory is /allow override none, which is kind of allowing you to override nothing out of it. This is the important part, document root. This is /var/www/html, and because of this setting, it knows where your default websites are. So basically, when I send an HTTP request by using the IP address here, it goes here in /www/html and it picks up the default, that is index.html file, and it shows it here. This is the default behavior of your Apache web server. If you want to change it, you can, and this can be changed by configuring the files there. We'll see them in a second. So here I can see /ww, which is having few configurations here. If I scroll down, I can see there are a bunch of other configurations as well. And if I go towards the end of it, probably right here, it shows me there are few alias modules and few modules if which are installed can be loaded here. So what I'm going to do right now, it shows me that it also can load the files which are present in the conf.d directory, or I can configure them manually here. Let's assume that you have got two websites you want to run on the same machine by using the names or website names there or the server names there. So I can configure that by using the virtual settings or the virtual hosting it is called as. Now how do you do it then? I mean, if I want to configure that virtual machine for using the named configuration, we'll have to go for using the virtual host, you know. So this can be done by saying virtual host, which is configured on IP address, or you can say the domain name, on port number 80, and this is the default one I want to use. So /virtualhost. Inside that you can supply the document root, which in my case is going to be like /var/www/html. This is the default configuration, and the server name here is say www. Let's say server.local, for example. Now I want to configure, let's say, 3 websites by using www.server.local, maybe I can say testa.local, and www.testb.local, something like this. This can be done by configuring it with the same virtual host. So you can say virtual host again *:80. This is the virtual hosting we are using right now. Again /virtual host. Virtual host. Again, it is going to be like document root. In my case, I'm going to change this to test A, and then we can say the server name to access this website or the website hosted in that directory is www.testa.local. Same goes for the other one, virtual host *:80. We can change that again /virtual host and virtual host, and then we can say the document root /var/www/testb. Now again, the server name here I want to use is like www.testb.local. So whenever the request will come to www.server.local, it will go to /var/www/html. When the request will come from www.testa.local, it will go to this directory, and if it is coming from testb.local, it is going to come to this directory. Now let's configure the websites there. So if I go back to /var/www/ there is one directory by default present, which is HTML. Test A and test B, both of them are not there. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to say sudo mkdir, say test A and test B. Okay, let's go to test A, sudo, let's copy that file from HTML directory, the one which we created earlier, and paste it here. Let's open this index.html and say this is test A page, and let's go into the test B. Let's follow the same here and say sudo vim index.html and change this to, let's say, test B. So if you look at the configuration now, we have got 3 directories: HTML, test A, test B. This is the default one, this is the test A, and this is the test B. Now to make this working, I'll have to go to my host machine. The host machine or the host operating system here is Mac. So I'm going to open that /vim/etc/hosts, and then I can enter the password, and then I can configure this IP address by using those 3 names, like 192.168.1.89 can be reached by using, let's say www.testa.local. Again, 192.168.1.89 can be reached by using, www.testb.local, and 192.168.1.89 can be also reached by using, let's just indent it in a better way, by using like server.local. So I've added them into my host operating system. If it is Windows, it has to be added inside the Windows. Wonderful. Now let's go back to our Firefox here. This is the default website that we already have checked. But instead of using this, if I go for testa.local, it shows me I'm going back to the test A web page, and if I go for test B, it goes to the test B website. The default one, again 192.168.1.89, it is going to the default one, but if I go back to test B, it goes to a different website. Test A, it is going to the different website, which proves the fact that this is a virtual hosting done on the same machine by using name association. So we have associated the name test A and test B. If you look at the directory names here, test A and test B for those websites, and the settings are available inside. Again, sudo vim /etc/httpd/conf/http.conf. if you look at this, these are the settings which are added for making that virtual hosting possible on the Fedora. Thank you guys.